Hi, welcome back to 2 Cells 1 Pack.
Today we're going to do a teardown on the InMotion E20. Let's go. So this wheel has been well used by probably more than 40 different people because we've had it for a couple months now, and we've been trying to get more and more people to ride. So we bring it to all our intro to speeds. Now it's been through a little bit. It's kind of got damaged a lot, but overall it still works perfectly. Last week one of them was learning and we had a flat tire, so that's the reason why we're doing this teardown. So let's get into it. Pulling apart this rubber, this 5mm grub screws. Looks like a V11 pedal rod. I'm going to see if I can remove this cover since it's already partially off. Looks like it's held on by some adhesive underneath this pad. Oh, looks like we're going to stick that back on later. And some screws at the top here. Now, one thing I saw at the Hong Kong show that was quite interesting is that this side panel, you can get vinyl stickers and, you know, personalize it for your kids, make it look cute. Since the motor cable looks like it's on the other side, let's flip it over and do the other side. Wow, they came off so easily. Got the motor cable here, routed. Looks like some silicone. So I guess I'll have to open up this top area. Looks like this outer shell can come off, so I guess I'll have to remove the black plastics. And looks like it's missing a couple screws. So you see no screw here, but over here is a screw. Look at that. So we got a couple screws here. Let's unscrew it and see what we find. Yes, I will remove the outer covers. Looks like these are all clipped on. So if we release these clips, it should come out. Oh, you got a little power button falling out. Now mainly we're just going to try to change the tire, but there is an obvious way to kind of access the control board. So we're going to see if I can release all the screws from one side and maybe lift this side of the shell apart. Because it looks like it might all just clip together. So got some 3 and 4 mils. Right here. So it looks like this side's free spinning, so I'll need to hold down the nut on the other side. Now this handle feels a little bit loose, so I think, oh, there it goes. Okay, so the handle's out. I'll probably have to release some of these shell screws from the other side. Yeah, it looks like there's screws on this side, so I'll have to remove that in order to split the shell. Let's see if we can split the shell. Looks like there's still something holding it down. Oh, I still have a screw here. Oh. Looks like we have liftoff. I'm going to move all these back to these positionings so that I can remove the shell. There you go. Nice. So similar to Leaperkim wheels, you only have to remove half the body in order to change the tire. You got the battery, you got this small control board that almost looks like a scooter control board. And let's remove both the tires, I guess. Now I kind of forgot which one's the flat one, so we'll have to test and see. Let me get my other tire spoons. Although this tire is quite soft, so you may not actually need it. See how wrinkly this tire is already? It has like no sidewall. A cute little tube. So you can see that the gapping between these two tires is actually quite large. Now I have to take my measurement tool. So it's basically a 60mm gap between the two wheels, which makes it super easy for new riders to figure out the control mechanisms of a unicycle, as well as trying to find their center of balance while being able to move at a slow pace. This is one of the difficulties of learning how to ride a unicycle, is that you kind of need to experience to be able to experience movement in order to learn your center of gravity. But it's hard to learn the center of gravity when the window is so narrow, where if you kind of tilt too much to one side or the other, you'll fall off. So with this, the window of opportunity is much larger. And then once you kind of get the feel, you can go to a normal unicycle and kind of tone it down and figure out how to balance. Now looking at the architecture of this wheel, it's actually super simple. So like we have the tail light here. I believe it's the charge port, which I guess that screw is not very useful if I didn't remove it, but I removed the shell. So I wonder what the screw kind of holds to, but you know, I'll take it off for now. And then you have a speaker. So this speaker plays music, and you can see in there's the beeper for the safety. So with this speaker, the reception is actually pretty good. Now, of course, there's not much bass to it, so it's not like JBL level quality, but for kids, you could play Baby Shark or, you know, some of those kids songs like Let It Go, and they'll have more fun. You can see the connectors here are
So messy.
It's kind of messy, but once you kind of put it all together, it's sandwiched in there. The other thing too is the phase wire is actually on this connector. So it uses a waterproof connector for convenience if you need to replace it. And then the charge cables use an XT30, while the battery using an XT60. And they have a nice water rubber seal here to prevent water ingress into the control board. Hopefully that seal will stay there in the scenario where I put it back together. Now the battery has this beautiful bracket that kind of holds it down to the motor cable side, so they did expect you to take it apart in this way to do the tire tube change. And then you have the power button, and this is the battery bar, so you can see how much battery you have left, and then the headlight. And I'm excited for it personally, not as a unicycle rider, but in terms of what it can do to grow the community and get more people riding. Because the biggest hurdle for unicycle riders, or getting new riders to join, is the fact that the learning curve is kind of hard. So this makes the learning curve much easier, which gets more people in. And it's over the course of the last couple months, this has people asking me to learn how to ride who would have never asked me previously. So it's not only a good tool for those interested, but it actually garners interest from those who were not interested previously. And I think that's a very underappreciated fact of this wheel.
It's not a wheel that's for riders, It's not a last mile wheel.
No.
It's not a in the trunk or in the front wheel.
No. So if you're a unicycle rider, you're gonna ride this and you'll be like, this is weird. Because you can't twist to recover yourself from falling. You can only tilt the wheel. And so you lose a level of control that you normally are used to with a normal unicycle. So this for sure is not something that you'll buy to keep in your car as a whatever. You can buy an M10 Mini, you can buy a Falcon. But for learning, this is probably the best learning tool you can use, because I've seen a lot of riders who have the jitters, which is like they step on the unicycle and you can see that their body is trying to learn how it controls, and they'll end up in this back and forth shudder where they can't control how they're moving. And with this, they're able to step on, not focus on the left and right so much, but focus on like the forwards and backwards control of the motion of the wheel. So if this is 0 and this is you learning how to ride a unicycle, this hill is a lot harder for most people than they want to or they're willing to learn. Now, this wheel slot's probably closer down to like the 30% mark, where it's super easy to get going. And we've seen people get going within 5-10 minutes. And we actually had to tell them to slow down because they're going too fast. And once they get to that 30%, they've bit that bug. They've figured out what a unicycle is, the feeling that it provides to them, and then they want more. And so then you see them transition into the M10-3s and the M10-4s and the Falcons and the smaller beginner wheels and slowly build their way up. Also, this wheel is super light. I think it's 25 or 30 pounds, I'd say. We can weigh it at the end of the video. But it's super light, so people aren't scared of the weight between their legs tipping over. And because the battery is just near the tire and the tire is so small, the center of gravity is very low as well. So it's not scary in that regard. So let's put the tube. This is the old tube. Let's put the new tube. Where's the hole? It's crazy how this tire is so so thin. Oh, that's pretty easy. Where's my valve cap?
On the side.
Put that there just so it doesn't run away on me. Hopefully this tube doesn't just pop the second I put air in it. Let's put it on. So I actually pumped it up to 35 PSI last time. But if you look at the tire, it actually says minimum 35 to a maximum of 85 PSI. So I'm wondering if I should actually pump it up higher. So the tube doesn't say anything, which means we're going to pump it up. Pump, pump, pump it up. Let's do 60 PSI. Now, Christine, you're going to have to remind me to fill up the other side too. And I just probably lost like 5 PSI right there.
Fill out the other side.
Are you reminding me now? Oh, thank you.
I did my job.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated. Now, while I'm doing this wheel isn't fast, but it isn't slow. So it can do about 20 kilometers per hour top speed. And honestly, we've been telling a lot of people to slow down because they are going faster than I'm comfortable seeing a new rider go. But that's just because they're getting really comfortable with the wheel. And it has an okay amount of torque for a new rider. More torque than an air wheel, but less torque than a normal wheel. For sure less than an M10 Mini. But it is more comfortable to ride than an M10 Mini because of the height between the pedals and the shell and the ergonomics of how it's tapered. So let's flip this over. We'll throw that cover back in here. I think that was right there. And let's throw the half shell back on. Oh, it looks like I need to route my cables first. Else there will be no more pretty LED lights. Okay. And why isn't it going down? Oh, I think it's like that. And I'll fix the seal. Okay, let's try that again. It's kind of sketchy because I might get clipped by a screw. So just making sure that doesn't happen. Oh my goodness. Infuriating. Okay, I'll fix it later. Let's fix this first. Make sure we can close this down. Make sure no wires get crimped. Here's this piece. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Open Gundam style. Man, that song is so old. I'm gonna fish this stupid seal out. Oh, looks like we're back together. Success.
Not 100%.
We're so close. I think if I start screwing some screws, it'll come back together. And they're all 3mm heads and 4 screws. So let's put these back in here. 1, 2, 3. Not 4. Oh, I think it's the opposite. I think it was on this side. Yeah, so this screw is actually on the opposite one.
Go.
So we got these 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got this screw here, number 5. And number 6 is on this side as well. This is the unfiltered version. Okay, now slip it around.
Why do they put so many holes but you're not putting things in?
That's what she said. Let's get 4mm motor bolts. Axles, pedals. So after you screw in the shell on this side, which is the, I guess, right side if you're facing the bottom of the wheel, what you want to do is actually put this screw and this screw on the opposing side to balance things out. So if you see the green tape, those ones are screwed in from the opposite side. And the holes that are exposed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, are screwed in from this current side. And even if you flip the wheel over, it'll still be the exact same because they're mirror images of each other. Now we're going to install all the cosmetic coverings back on. To make my life a bit easier to double check our work, we'll turn it on, let it balance, make sure everything's good. And now we can go ahead and put these parts back on. So they have these pins to secure the handles. And the matching screws. One more. Okay. Now that the handle's back on, let's clip on some of these plastic coverings. So the big side, of course, is on the top. It is symmetrical though, so you don't have to worry about putting the wrong side in the wrong place. I think some of my clips are broken. There we go. And we can get the rear cover. It doesn't really matter what order you put these things back on because they're all clip-on and they all clip through each other, so it's not the end of the world. You can do it in whatever order that makes you happy. Now don't forget you have these small Phillips screws that are going to go up here and hold down this piece. Now it's screwed into plastic, so I wouldn't torque it down too much for fear of stripping it. Lay it down. Oh, look at that. It's the simple things in life that give so much pleasure. Now you want to get your 2 Phillips screws again. Where did I put my... Okay, so let's finish putting the boomerangs back on. Making sure that all the clips are put in and not broken. So scared of breaking these clips. Okay, looks like they're in. We clip in these side panels that, you know, could come with vinyl, or you can even wrap it yourself if you want to give it a splash of color. And we can go pick a vinyl wrap, and then we can make a video on how to customize your E20. Oh, shoot. Looks like I broke one of the clips, or it broke by itself, maybe. Okay. Now, let's see if this will stick back on. After we put these Phillips screws back on. I mean, the good thing about clips is that there's less screws.
V14 has a lot of them.
V14 has a lot of screws.
It has clips.
It has clips too, yeah. And they all break. But it's like automotive design. Okay, just hold it down. Boom. Last. Now the only thing to keep in mind is that there's similar to the V11, there is a flat orientation here. So you have to make sure that your pedal rod matches the orientation, or else it won't go in the hole. So it can be a little bit finicky. There you go. Once you nail that orientation, you're good to go. What's that? That's in. Okay. Okay. Now we take this rubber. There's this little slit here, as well as the hole for the knob. You want to insert that, and then insert the knob. And it'll all go back into place. Now there's 2 more screws near the bottom for the pedal hangers. So that's a kind of an atypical video. It's kind of a half teardown look / tire change. Pretty simple, pretty basic inside, but aligning it when you're putting it back together is a bit of a acquired art, let's say. You gotta be very careful. What do you have to say?
Nothing.
Nothing? Nothing at all? Okay. That's a wrap. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. And if nothing else,
Like and subscribe and ding dong ding dong.
see you next time.
Bye.